The blizzard came without warning. Snow swept across southern Austria like a living thing, swallowing roads, barns, and distant tree lines beneath a curtain of white fury. The wind screamed against the mountainsides, drowning out every sound except the storm's icy roar. In the middle of that storm, a small convoy of American trucks crawled forward, engines straining, tires slipping across drifts deeper than a man's knee. Inside one of the rear trucks sat a group of German women prisoners, huddled together under thin blankets. Fear clung to them as tightly as the cold. "Will they leave us here?" one whispered, her voice trembling. "They're Americans. They don't care if we freeze." Another shook her head, trying to sound brave, but her eyes were full of dread. "They beat our men. They will abandon us." None of them truly knew the Americans, only knew the stories they had been fed. Outside, the storm intensified, forcing the convoy to a halt. The wind howled so loudly it drowned out even the engines. Lieutenant James Carter, a broad-shouldered U.S. officer with a calm voice and a frost-covered coat, stepped out into the storm. His Sergeant Marcus Hale joined him, tall, steady, and moving with the quiet professionalism of a man who had seen war's worst yet, refused to become hard because of it. "Roads blocked ahead, sir," Hale reported. "We're going to have to get everyone out on foot. The trucks won't make it." Carter looked at the prisoners shivering inside the canvas-covered truck. "They won't survive a mile in this cold," he said firmly. "We carry them." Holly nodded without hesitation. No argument, no complaint, just duty shaped by compassion. When the guards opened the back of the truck, icy wind blasted inside, snatching the breath from everyone's lungs. The women recoiled, clutching their blankets tighter. A young German POW named Anna whispered, voice shaking, "They're taking us out. This is it. They'll leave us to die." But instead of shouting or dragging them out, Carter spoke gently, his tone steady and respectful. "Ladies, we need to move you to shelter. The storm is worsening. We're not abandoning anyone." The women stared, confused. No American officer they imagined spoke like that. Another soldier, Private Jackson, removed his own scarf and wrapped it around an older woman's neck. "You'll need this more than I will, ma'am." Her eyes widened with disbelief. The wind cut like knives, and the snow rose halfway to a man's thigh. Some of the women, weakened by weeks of hunger and cold, could barely stand. Carter saw it instantly. "Sergeant," he said, "pair every woman with a soldier. We can't walk, we carry them." And the Americans did. With a professionalism that seemed almost effortless, they lifted the exhausted possum on their backs, some in their arms, some supported between two strong shoulders. Anna, still shaking, was scooped up by Sergeant Hale. She expected rough hands. She expected anger. Instead, she felt the surprising gentleness of a man who carried her as carefully as if she were his own sister. "You're safe," Hallie said through the storm. "I've got you." And I couldn't speak. The cold had stolen her breath, but so had the kindness. The soldiers trudged forward, each step a battle against the wind. Snow whipped against their faces, stinging their skin raw, but not a single American faltered. They shielded the women from the wind with their bodies. They gave up their gloves, their scarves, their coats if needed. Private Jackson stumbled, but tightened his grip on the woman he carried. "Don't worry," he said, panting. "I won't drop you." For the first time, she believed him. Behind them, Anna whispered to Hale, "Why? Why are you doing this? We are your enemy." Hale didn't slow. "War's the enemy," he answered. "People aren't." She had never heard anything like it. After an hour that felt like a lifetime, they saw light a faint orange glow through the snow curtain. A farmhouse. Its roof sagging, but standing. Carter shouted over the wind, "Move! We get them inside first." The Americans rushed the women into the farmhouse, laying them near the fire, wrapping them in blankets, checking their pulses, thawing their hands carefully to avoid frostbite. These men trained for combat, moved with the precision of medics and the gentleness of brothers. Jackson poured warm water into a cup, guiding it to an older woman's lips. "Slow sips," he said softly. "You'll be all right." Hull placed Anna near the fire and gave her his own wool gloves. "You're safe," he repeated quietly. This time, she believed him without doubt. As the storm raged outside, the German women looked around the room, wrapped in American coats. Warmed by American hands, protected by American soldiers who had every reason to hate them. But instead, those soldiers had carried them. Anna whispered, voice cracking. "We thought you would leave us. We thought you were cruel." Hale knelt beside her. "Cruelty doesn't win wars," he said. "Character does." And the women exchanged stunned glances. They had never been taught this. They had never imagined the enemy could be. Humane, strong, yes. Disciplined, absolutely, but kind. It shifted something in them, something no propaganda could touch. Hours later, as the storm finally began to quiet, Lieutenant Carter stepped outside with Hale. "You did good today, Sergeant," Carter said. "War tests strengths, but storms test humanity." Hale stared at the silent snow. "Sir, they were terrified of us. They thought we were monsters." Carter sighed. "And they'll go home after this war and tell the truth." Behind them, through the cracked farmhouse window, the German women watched the Americans standing guard outside in the freezing cold, protecting them without complaint. Anna whispered to the others, "They didn't leave us to freeze. They saved us when they didn't have to." In that moment, the women understood. This was the real strength of America, not just power on the battlefield, but compassion where the world least expected it. Thank you for watching today's story. Before you go, tell us in the comments, where are you watching from? We love seeing how far our stories reach around the world. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next story brought to life.